you can doodle in Procreate. During this special Procreate tutorial, I will show you how you can create 20 easy doodles. You can either pick your favorites or combine them all into a special doodle artwork. We'll just be using one brush, very easy steps. During this tutorial, I'm working on a canvas that is 2500 pixels by 2500 pixels. But in this case, it doesn't really matter. It's really all about the shapes we will be creating. So make sure your iPad is charged, grab your pen, follow along, and don't forget to share your work. For all of these doodles, I'll be using the dry ink brush, which you can find under inking, but of course you can use any brush that you like. Or perhaps you're creating these doodles on paper with pencil or pen. I have the size set to 20% and the opacity is at 100%, and I'll be using black for my color. So you can just double tap here in the circle to grab pure black, or of course you can pick any color if you want to change things up. And our first doodle is this cute little plant. We'll start by drawing a thin, like sausage shape from left to right and then back. And then we'll make a rounded shape underneath like this. And then we'll make these rounded shapes inside. These are like thick leaves. And we'll make them overlap a little bit. Try starting in the front and then making leaves in between. One here. And then another one behind here. And then to add an extra touch to your doodle, you can add these lines here on the pot, some longer and some a bit shorter. Or you could add a fun little pattern to the pot. And we can add some extra touches to these leaves. Just a line with some extra lines. Make them slightly curved. Perhaps another one here. And there we have our doodle plant. Next up is a pizza slice. We'll start off with another sausage shape, but it's thicker this time and slightly curved. And then we'll make a line going down over here. And we'll add some wobbles here. Then we'll go back towards our sausage shape like this. And then we'll make another line underneath like this. Then let's give it a fun face. We'll make a mouth like this. It's like a bean shape. And we'll make two curves for its eyes. We'll add a curve underneath its mouth, and then we'll draw teeth like this by creating triangles. And then a shape for its mouth like this. Then you can color in this area. Just go along those teeth and along its tongue. And then we can add some extra touches by adding some dots, maybe some cheeks like this, and some more dots for texture. And we can add some short little curves along this edge of the crust. Let's make some lines on the side. And that's it for our pizza slice guy. Next, we'll create a happy star. We'll start with a rounded triangular shape, and I will make another one here and one over here, and then two here at the bottom with rounded parts to make them look extra friendly. Then we'll give this star some depth by creating an extra line here and attaching that at the top here. Do the same here. We'll go down and then to this corner, make a line over here attaching to that corner, Then we'll go down and attach it here. Then we'll do the same here. We'll make a line towards that point here. And now it has this 3D look. Then let's create two eyes just by creating these oval shapes. And a happy smile. Color that in. Now let's give him these eyebrows and a slight curve underneath its mouth. And then for extra touches, we can add some lines here to the side and over here to emphasize that 3D look. And we can add some dots right at the pointy parts. And perhaps some shapes over here, as if he is sparkly. Next, let's create a puppy. We'll start by creating a curve like this, then go down, then go to the other side like this, and then we'll make another curve like this. So we have a symmetrical shape. And then here at the bottom, you can create a nose just by creating an oval. And then we'll create a shape around this shape. We'll start here, then make a curve going up. We'll go all the way to the other side and attach it here. Then here we'll create a curve like this, and on the other side as well. Then we'll add a little belly and two simple feet here. Then here we'll make its mouth by just creating these two little curves, and we'll add eyes just by making these ovals. Then for extra texture, you can add these lines for its cheeks. We can add some lines on its body. And let's color in that ear area. Just color it in entirely like this. And with this dry ink brush, you get a nice little texture. So I think it looks better than just filling it in by dropping in the color. All the way down here. And then we'll add even more texture by tapping and holding the eraser. It'll switch to that dry ink brush. And let's set the size to 20% for this as well. And then we can add texture by creating these lines on those ears. And we'll follow the curve here. We'll go down towards its nose. And here we'll go up. And on this side, we'll follow the curve again. Next, we'll create a happy monster. We'll start by creating a square with rounded corners. So something like this. Then we'll add an arm by creating a curve like this. And let's just give it 3 fingers. It's a monster after all. And another curve over here. Let's give it 3 fingers here as well. Then we'll give it a 3D look by creating a line over here and then going down and connecting it again here. And let's give it legs. Just these rounded sausage-like legs. Then over here, we'll create an eye. It's a Cyclops monster. You can hold your pen in place if you want a perfectly round circle. And we'll give him a big mouth. Make a curve like this. Then make a curve like this. And then we'll make the bottom of the mouth like this. Go back up. There. He looks a bit like a Cyclops SpongeBob right now. So let's give him an iris. You can hold your pen in place again. Add a pupil. And let's make these lines going outward. Now let's add a bunch of teeth in its mouth. Just make these rounded shapes. Makes them look a bit less scary. And then over here as well. And we'll add a tongue. Then we can color in the center of the mouth. Just go around the teeth and the tongue to fill that area. And then let's add some extra texture. We can add some lines on this eye, also underneath. Now let's add some lines here on the side and on its legs. Also on the arms. And let's add a few little dots and marks on its face. And a little line underneath its mouth. And there we have our crazy SpongeBob lookalike monster. Next up is a pencil. To create a pencil, just make a diagonal line like this. And then make a parallel one like this. Then add a pointy part. And make the bottom here a bit rounded. And here we can make these curves like this. And darken the tip. And then make another curve over here. Let's make extra lines, make these lines a little bit curved. Let's color the bottom. That's like the eraser part. And then make lines from this top of this like wave shape. And then go down. And we'll connect this one to the other pointy part. And here at the top, we can make some lines to add some texture. And on the eraser part, we can use the eraser again and add some texture there as well. Another great addition for a doodle artwork are clouds and rainbows. Let's first make some clouds, one on each side. Just make a simple cloud with these curves. And another one on this side. And then make curves in between. You can actually hold your pen in place to make it nice and smooth. Then let's make another one on top. And another one. You can make as many as you like. I'm going to create a very simplified rainbow that doesn't even have enough colors. But I like it having 3 of these lines. Now let me just give a quick shout out to all of the patrons who support this channel. You are the reason I can keep making these tutorials. Now last month, I dropped these tutorials at Patreon, and here are some of the results. I think they are all amazing. Next up is a crazy cactus. Let's make a big shape like this. And go down. Make a curved bottom. And then add like an arm shape here. And another one on this side. Then we'll create the eyes. I want one to be bigger than the other one. So we have one big one and then a smaller one here. Then create its mouth by creating a curve. And then adding these teeth. Let's add the pupils. And then let's color everything in. Let's go over the entire body until it looks like this. Then we'll grab our eraser again. And let's add these lines to add texture to our cactus. And you can make some shorter, some a bit longer to add some variety. Here, make sure they follow the curve a bit. Here we can add a little like highlight area here as well. Then over here, and add some lines on this arm of the cactus as well. And then finally, go back to the brush and add some pointy parts, some needles. Vary the spacing a little bit, and you can vary the length. And that's how you can create a derpy looking cactus. Next up is an easy fish. First, let's create its mouth, creating like a little heart shape. Then we'll create a curve like this, and another one at the bottom. Then we'll create a tail by making curved, rounded shapes. And let's add these lines inside. And here at the top, we have like the dorsal fin and a fin here at the bottom. And I make a curved line in this area, dividing the front and the back. Add a little eye, and then add a bunch of scales, creating these semicircles. And then going like this, attaching those semicircles with another semicircle. Until you have filled the entire back part of the body. Next, we'll create an old-fashioned alarm clock. We'll do that by creating a circle, hold your pen in place, and then make another one around it. Again, hold your pen in place. You can use ellipse here at the top to edit it a little bit. So go for something like this and tap the brush to get out of there. You might need to tidy it up a little bit. Then add these little triangles at the bottom, and the center will add a little circle. I will add these big semicircles here at the top, like Mickey Mouse ears. Then we'll attach these two with a line like this. And let's add a little like roof shape here. We'll add a dot here and here. And I will add lines for our clock. So one at the top, one at the bottom, one here, and then two right in between for each of these. Now you can pick any time you like and place these lines, one a little bit shorter than the other. And we can add a little bit of texture by creating some lines here on our Mickey Mouse ears. And instead of adding these hands of the clock, you could also add a funny face, of course. You can add funny faces to anything when you are doodling, actually. Next up is a happy little turtle. Let's first create a curve for the top of its shell, and then add little parts sticking out, and then a curve at the bottom. So this is our shell. Then let's make its face by creating a curve like this. Then go back to here, and I will add its feet. One in the front and one in the back. Then its belly. Make it go here, and then here we'll have a little tail. And its other foot is here. Then let's give him an eye and a little smile. And let's add some texture to its shell by creating these shapes with rounded corners. Or perhaps you would like to give another pattern to your turtle. You can definitely go wild. And we'll create these shapes over here along the edge. And now let's add even more shapes inside. Some shapes aren't entirely finished. Some are just these rounded corners. And some lines in between these sections, like the top and that edge. For its belly, we can add these lines. Perhaps some lines here for some shadow effect. And we'll create these toes like this. We're just making these short lines upward. And we can make the bottom part of the shell a little bit thicker. Add some line weight there. And that's actually an overall tip. You can play around with the line weight of your doodles. And that means making some lines thicker than others, to emphasize some lines and to make other areas more delicate. Next up is a jellyfish. We'll start by creating a curved shape like this. Go down here. And then we'll make more curves in the center here. And another curve here. And then attach this. So this is a nice rounded bottom for our jellyfish. We can play around with the line weight again, making this a little bit thicker. And then underneath, we can make these curved lines for its tentacles. Make some longer, some shorter. And then for its face, I'd like to create an angry face by making these diagonal lines first, then a curve underneath here as well. Little pupil. And we can make a mouth like this, rounded shape, and then just 3 lines inside. For some extra texture, you can add some dots here near the bottom of its body. But if you'd rather have a happy jellyfish, then you can also make eyes like this, wide apart, rounded mouth, slight smile, with 2 teeth like this. They don't even have teeth, but this is a doodle. Color that in. And perhaps give it little eyelashes. This way you can really vary endlessly with your doodles. You can really combine different faces with different objects, animals, creatures. So really feel free to try that out. Next, we'll create a little cupcake. First, create a curved line like this. Then a curve upward on this side and on this side. We'll create a little ear here as well. And here in the center, we'll create a unicorn horn. And connect those ears to that center part. And I will make a line down here and here as well. Connect those two. And make these slightly diagonal lines. Then we'll add eyes, around one here and one here. And in the middle, we'll create 2 curves like this and another one underneath for a little tongue. For the horn, we'll add these curved lines. And we'll add a line in this ear and in this one. We'll add little eyebrows. And of course, these whiskers. Just making these curves towards the outside. You can also add a little rosy cheek. And you can switch to the eraser to add a little highlight to the eye. Next, we'll create a simple bird. Start by creating a curve like this. Go up and then back down to connect again. Then we'll make another shape like this on the inside, like this. That will be the wing. Then create an eye over here. Add a beak and 2 feet, very simple. And you can add texture and the wing like this by following that curve. And we can even make the lines a little bit thicker. Maybe the eye a little bit bigger. To really add to that cuteness. Next up is a guitar. Let's start with a curve like this. Then go down and go back up. Make another curve. And don't connect them, because in the center we'll make a line up like this. You can hold your pen in place if you like for a nice straight line. Then make a rounded rectangle here at the top. And then make another line going down. Then let's make a circle over here. You can hold your pen in place if you like. And we'll make a flat rectangle here. Of course, this is not a realistic guitar. We're just making a really simplified version. So I'm making these 4 dots and these shapes on the side. Let's make some more strings by adding these lines. And maybe we can fit another one here. So that's a very basic Doodle guitar. Now we'll create a little cat. We'll start by creating a curve like this. Then here we'll make these 2 little, I don't know what to call them. They're almost like lips. Then we'll continue our curve like this. And we'll add ears on both sides. So these are these triangles with a rounded corner. Here we'll make a shape like this, like a W shape, and connect it here, and make another curve over here. Now we'll make a tail over here. Now we can make these lines a little bit thicker here on the underside. And then over here we'll make a nose in the center of its head. A little curve this way and a little curve that way. And then for its eyes, we'll keep them simple, just these black little ovals. You can add some lines for its cheeks. And of course, it needs whiskers. You can add some extra texture by adding some lines for its fur, and we'll add the inside of its ears by adding an extra triangle. Then you can use the eraser to add more texture on that inside. And of course you could add a fur pattern if you like. Next we have a slice of watermelon. Every doodle needs a watermelon. So first let's create a slightly curved line like this. Then we'll make a semicircle like this. And here we'll make an extra line slightly diagonal. And then we'll make another curved line like this. Then we'll make one on the inside. And of course you can hold your pen in place if you want a very smooth curve. And then let's create a face. Let's start with its mouth. Curved shape like this. And for the eyes, I'd like to use these little bean shapes. Let's give him teeth and a little tongue. And then let's add extra lines here in this edge. Make sure you follow the curve. And then another one that is almost completely intact. Gonna have a few little gaps. And then for some seeds, let's just make some lines like this. Let's also color this area. And then finally, let's grab the eraser and add highlights to the eyes. Next up is a cute sunflower. We'll draw a circle like this. And you can hold your pen in place again, of course. And then we'll make a bunch of petals. A bit long. Try to make them pretty much the same size. But you can vary the shapes a little bit. I'll give it a cute little smile, but of course you can add a different type of face if you like. And then a stem here at the bottom, right in between the petals, and then 2 small leaves. Every doodle artwork also needs a cute coffee cup, of course. First, let's start with a curve like this for the bottom part. Then we'll connect these 2 parts like this. Then we'll make a curve on the side and a bigger curve around it for the handle, the ear of the cup. And then we'll make a shape like this at the top and color that in. Then we can give it a face. We can give it a nice big smile and a little tongue. And 2 eyes like this. Maybe a little bit longer. Or you can give it a different face, of course. 2 little cheeks. We can add some lines to the handle here. And you can add these curves here at the top for some damp coming off this hot coffee. And I grab the eraser for the highlights on its eyes. Finally, we'll create a cute little robot. First, we'll make a rectangle with rounded corners like this, and I will make another rectangle underneath, and it can be slightly smaller. Then we'll make another rectangle inside this one, rounded corners again, and this is where the face will be. So we'll make 2 big eyes, slight smile, and then let's add more to its body. Let's make another rectangular shape here. And some circles for some buttons here. Perhaps another rounded rectangle and some lines. We can add something to the side of its head on both sides, like ears, robot ears, and some antenna. And then for its legs, we'll just make these rounded shapes. And now let's create arms. We'll start here, make a curve like this, and another one over here. And I will make like a bean shape here for its hand. Then on this side, curve like this, and another one, and then the bean shape. And then you can add extra texture. Let's just color these in. And this one as well. Let's also color in the legs. And then switch to the eraser for some curved lines on its arms. And also some lines on these legs. And now that you have created all 20 doodles, you can pick your favorites or pick them all and combine them into one big art piece. You can either have some spacing in between these doodles and fill that area with lots of small little doodles, or you can make all these doodles overlap. And of course you can either stick with black and white, or you can color your doodle artwork any way you like. I hope you have enjoyed following along. If you want to see more doodle videos like this one, please let me know. I would be happy to create some more. And then I'm hoping to see you next time for the next video. Thank you for watching.